it's going to go on. Are you ready?
Hi, everyone!
Hey!
It's Mark!
And Aaron!
From Art 4! Hey! Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us today. Who would have thought that in the middle of April, it would be snowing, that we would be trying to lock ourselves inside of our homes from a global pandemic that would crash the economy? Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed it? I wouldn't. No, not at all.
And that it was snowing.
Yeah, crazy. So, there's that. But we hope that we can bring you some joy this week and this Wednesday for our segment that we call Intermission Interview, which is part of our ongoing series promoting our ShowTunes Sunday program. Aaron, tell them a little bit about ShowTunes Sunday.
Yeah, if you didn't know yet, ShowTunes Sunday, we're in our second week right now. So we're partnering with local South Bend artists and they get to choose their own musical theater song to perform with usually me at the piano and Mark directing and coaching them through the video aspects. So it's a lot of back and forth, right? So we have an initial conference with the artist. I'll create backing tracks for the artist, then the artist will do the vocal tracks. Mark will mix those together, and then we'll send it back to the artist to do the visual element of that, which is another round of edits. And then you have, ta-da! Your performance of ShowTunes Sundays in COVID-19 situation.
Piece of cake, right? That sounded easy. And all of this is to help raise relief funds for artists who are local, who have been financially impacted by COVID-19. At the end of each week, we throw a weekly fundraiser for them. And then at the end of each week, any proceeds that are raised, 50% goes to Art 4's 2020 programming, and the remaining 50% goes to the artist that we're working with this week. And this week, we are working with Pierre Cooks.
Woo!
Yes, and he's live in the studio with us, and we're gonna bring him in right
now?
Yeah,
right now? Just before we bring Pierre in, make sure, if you're wondering, how can I donate to this amazing program?
Yes.
There are lots of ways you can donate. So we have a Venmo account at Art4SB. So you can Venmo us your donations. You can also go to our website, art4sb.org/ShowTunes Sunday. Yes. Don't worry if you didn't write all that down. We're going to have it on the screen several times throughout the next half hour.
But there is a quiz at the end of this, so you better know it by the end.
So there is a donate button on our website directly for this program. Also, Pierre's videos are on Facebook right now on our art4sb.org Facebook page, and those all have donate buttons as well. So there's lots of ways that you can give and support Pierre and Art4 programming. Okay, all right. Now I'm ready.
Yeah,
if you want to
grab your drink, everybody. We're bringing Pierre into the studio.
Okay.
Any second now, any moment, any time at all. Hi!
Hey!
Pierre, you're here. I think he's muted right now. I can't hear
wait a
him.
Let me turn your, there you go. Now you should be able to talk. Go.
Yeah. I am here, drink in hand.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
You're my friend. It's good to see you today.
It's good to see you guys.
Happy intermission interview to you. Pierre, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm a local artist here in town. This is pretty much where I grew up. I am 28 years old, moved here from Chicago about when I was 7, and I've been here ever since. And the arts kind of grew on me at a young age, really. I actually started out singing in church for a large portion of my childhood, and at some point I found my way into the theater world. Didn't happen really until high school. I don't know what came over me. It was either musical theater or being a doctor, and I don't know how the two are mutually or how I ended up choosing the theater world, but I'm glad I did because it has really been a life change.
Here, but I am a doctor and a piano player.
Fair enough.
And I recommend you do the same.
Yes.
Yeah. It helps during global catastrophes. Well, we're glad that you chose the arts because everybody in the community gets to experience your amazing talent. I read somewhere that you are a self-trained dancer. Tell me, okay, so you started with the singing, which, by the way, I also started singing in church as well. Did you have a similar experience?
I did, as a pianist. I played in a lot of churches growing up.
I starred as the son in the production of Noah and the Ark. Yeah, as we do.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. So, church, bringing it back home. How did you get involved with dance?
So dance, actually, first of all, I grew up just kind of playfully dancing with my family. We've always been like a kind of fool around, jokey family, at all kinds of functions or even just walking around the house, just jamming. But I didn't really realize that it was a passion of mine until high school. I started dancing my junior year of high school. And so it's been about 9 to 10 years at this point, actually over 10 years at this point that I've been dancing, 11 years. I know.
You did right there. I was like, I need a calculator. I have no idea figuring that out.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was dancing, actually. A friend of mine had asked me to dance for a performance that she had to do in school. And I was like, okay, we'll give it a go. Never really done any type of dance before, aside from just goofing around. It was hip hop dance that segued into contemporary, and I fell in love with the contemporary aspect of it.
Sure.
And it just kind of took off from there. I learned that it was a language that that really, really resonated with me personally. So I'd probably say that that's probably one of my favorite forms of the arts is dance.
Yeah.
It's the thing that's the most consistent with me at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just like the way that dance can really convey storytelling without any words at all. And for those of you at home who don't know, Broadway HD right now, you can stream shows off of there for free for about a week, right? And then make sure that you then cancel your subscription so they don't charge you up the wazoo for it. You just got to pay attention. And they have wonderful ballets. The production of Alice in Wonderland is up right now, and it's fantastic. I can definitely relate to how dance resonates with you in this type of world.
I didn't really realize that that it never really like dawned on me how much movement is a really big part of everyone's lives. Even before we're born, we talk about how babies kick in the stomach and move around in the stomach. It's really human nature to just be in constant motion, and dance is just a really expressive and artistic way to move. And so, I think that's probably why it sits so well with me.
Sure. Yeah, I love that. And of course, you're not just a dancer and a singer, you're an actor too. You've been in productions around the area, the South Bend Civic Theater, Round Barn, Ghost Light. What was your first theatrical experience, like your first experience with a musical?
My very first one was at Clay High School. It was my freshman year, of high school. Under the direction of David Case, it was Babes in Toyland.
Oh wow!
And I was Peter Pumpkin Eater, and I was just actually looking at an old picture of that, and I was like, wow, this will never go anywhere public. It was scary, and I actually had one line in the show, and I remember that line like it was yesterday. That line was, "I'd rather eat pumpkin pie forever than to be nice to him." It was the cutest thing, I swear. Oh man, it really was so cute.
It's like David Case to pick a classic musical like that. He loves those shows. Shout out to David Case.
Hope you're watching, David.
Yeah.
Hey.
For those of you who are watching at home, if you have questions for Pierre, please type them in. We'll pull them up on the screen and send him your questions later at the end of this interview.
Yeah, so a quick shout out to Terry Baker, Roy Bronkema. Hello!
Hello, everyone.
We do have questions that are already coming in. Jack Saunders, I see your question, but we'll do questions at the end. So Jack, I'm saving yours for the end, but you can keep sending your questions, and then when we get to that portion of the interview, I will show it on screen.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk specifically about our ShowTunes Sunday that we did with you, Pierre. How did you come to choose the 2 songs that you wanted to do for ShowTunes Sunday?
First of all, I love both of the songs. Out There has just been a really big part of my childhood. Growing up watching all kinds of Disney movies, they were my jams. Hunchback of Notre Dame was probably one of my favorite shows. And so Out There just really, really clicked with me. Let It Sing, I actually grabbed that from a friend of mine, Paul Mao, who introduced that song to me about 1.5 years ago. And it was a song that I had put in my book, and I practiced it, and I rehearsed it a lot, and I love the energy of the song, and both of them just really made a lot of sense to the times that we're in, and just really encouraging people to keep the faith and know that we'll get through this, and just kind of have a really positive attitude about things as we move forward through COVID. So.
What's that? I missed
I said
that.
as we move through COVID. Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, Let It Sing, I had never played before. So congratulations on choosing a song I'd never played before.
Yeah, read us material we didn't know. It's so great.
Which actually,
it's on the musical Violet. It's on the musical Violet. It's a really, really cool song. It's super high energy, and I just fell in love with it the first time I heard it. It just really, it reminded me so much of my childhood, with all the runs and the riffs, and just the energy of it was just really, really inspiring to my heart. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I was able to introduce some new content to you guys.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe you guys end up doing Violet one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Gotta put it on the list.
Maybe we already have.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Art 4 2024. Look out. Well, I also like that you picked material that was relevant in a non-ironic way, right? Like it wasn't tongue-in-cheek or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Being so genuine and true to who I feel you are as a performer. And I like the energy that you brought to Let It Sing.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of inspired you to make that into a dance number? Because just like side note to our viewers at home, our viewers at home, who am I? I don't know. Our viewers at home. So like that wasn't really the conversation that we had beforehand. And then that just happened naturally. You were like, I want to do this as a dance number. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I absolutely chose. I'm a dancer, and we had talked about just filming in different time periods, and I don't know. It just, as I was singing, I didn't really want the constraints of trying to lip sync and dance at the same time, or to sing and dance at the same time.
You're lip syncing in the videos?
Am I? Who knew? But it was I didn't want that. That was a challenge that I didn't really want to face with such little time, and I knew that once I put on the clothes, it just came to me, why don't I just make these a dance number? This is a really big dance number instead. And as I was doing it, it started to feel so natural to me. I just really enjoyed it, and I was like, this was the right decision. So
that's cool. Yeah, I just had a conversation with Mark Abram Copenhaver today about how sometimes when you run into a challenge like that, it just really breeds creativity, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle doing this one thing. Let's play to the strengths and do something different. And girl, it paid off.
Yeah.
I love it. It's amazing. And I have to say, there's so much more time of Pierre dancing. I have so many dance clips of Pierre now.
We should put together a bonus track.
Yeah, yes! Bonus track of Pierre dancing.
Oh boy.
I don't even know what to do with all these dance moves. I was trying to find ways to feature each amazing thing, and I don't think I did it justice. But you did a fantastic job with that. Tell us a little bit about how COVID-19 has kind of impacted your life.
Yeah, so I work in the hospitality industry when I'm not on stage, and it took a really big hit, the hospitality industry, and so a lot of layoffs happened. I was one of those ones that got laid off, so I became unemployed really quickly, and that's okay. It happens. It's just the times that we're in. Nobody saw any of this coming, so I'm not upset about it. It was just an unfortunate situation, and so it's left me at home a lot, wondering how can I make art? How can I continue to grow as an artist? And so I was so grateful to the outpour from the artist community between dance videos and teaching sessions and things like this, creating opportunity for artists to make art, to create art, while also making it lucrative for them is a really big help. So I'm so appreciative to Art4 for creating an opportunities like this for so many artists like myself. So.
No, absolutely.
Well, it's our pleasure. We will always be here for artists in town, and it's what we do. We want to create work for people. Artists deserve to be paid. Hear that at home again. Artists deserve to be paid. You deserve to be paid here, and it was our pleasure working with you this week.
Yeah, and that leads right into our next question, which is kind of how the future of arts in South Bend and how COVID has kind of changed our landscape. And we've seen, I know I've seen a lot of different interpretations of how to do art in this new time period. But what are your thoughts on some of the things that you've come up with on how arts is going to be different even after we get out of COVID-19?
I think that I think the artist community is going to grow. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are watching the outpour from the artist community who are saying, maybe I can be a part of something like this. And I think it'll create a space for a new generation of artists or a new family that we didn't know and they didn't know that they wanted to be a part of. And so I think it's going to grow in that capacity. I also think that it is subconsciously or maybe consciously in a lot of ways knitting the artist community together. I've seen a lot more collaborative efforts as of late, and it has really, really touched my heart because that is something that has always been a part of who I am, is synergy and just kind of creating spaces and building spaces together and just making something beautiful, because I am a firm believer of a house divided does not stand. And so it's really beautiful to see the artist community come together. And I think that is really going to change the arts for the better going forward after COVID. And hopefully it lasts a long time. I think it was super necessary. Super necessary in this capacity, and the capacity of knitting folks together. No one wants a pandemic, but we take the things that we learn from it and we move forward in positive ways. And so that's what I think is going to happen here.
Yeah, the way that it brings community together, not just the artist community, but holistically, I feel that generosity is kind of having a rebirth.
Yeah.
When we all know that people around us are suffering or dealing with STEM in their lives. For some reason, we just treat each other better.
Yeah.
When there's not a global pandemic going on, we continue to move around with the feeling that we and not it's not something that's done with intent, but we just don't times. And here we are accepting and knowing that other people are struggling and doing what we can to lift each other up.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. With were you I couldn't figure out how to start that. Were you directly impacted as far as the performance aspect, or was anything going on that you've had to reschedule or cancel or postpone or?
Yes. Many things. I was in West Side Story, and actually this week at South Bend Civic, and this week would have been Tech Week for West Side Story, going into performances this weekend. And it is really sad to think about that, because at the very first rehearsal / sing through that we had, one of the things that was really important to me and that I kept hearing around the room when Leah, the director, asked everyone, what is your reason for doing the show? A lot of folks' answer was the love aspect of the show, the family, the community. And that is the part of things that I miss the most, not being a part of that production. Because I would have gotten to meet a lot of new people, and I would have gotten to just be a part of something great. And it also would have been my first time on the Morris stage. but
Yes.
but all those other things certainly outweigh that by a lot. And so Westside was one of the biggest things. On top of that, Uzima, the dance company that I work with, has postponed a lot of the shows, a lot of the performances that we had coming up. We had about 3 performances coming up, and we're planning our season. Planning our next season, and so a lot of that really took a back seat in light of COVID. And so and then in my own personal life, art or organizations aside, I should say, I'm working on a really big project for my birthday that has not been halted because of the corona. I am really, really excited about it.
Nothing's
I
gonna stop
can't share too many details about it, but I'm really excited, and it is a community project, and I've got a lot of people who are on board already, and it's just really catching some momentum, and I'm super passionate about it. So look forward to some things.
Yeah.
totally.
When is the birthday, or what month is this potentially happening?
Yes.
July. My birthday is July 16th.
Nice. Hey.
16.
Right. Yeah, we are writing that down.
So it'll be about then when things start to take off. But be on the lookout. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
Wonderful.
Pierre, if there's anything that we can do to help, just let us know.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that.
Oh, of course. Now let's talk a little bit more about Uzima.
Yes.
Okay. So you're involved with a company. Where's my question? Where's my question? Tell me about and tell people at home a little bit about Uzima, the work that they do, and their mission, if in case they don't know.
Absolutely. So we are a dance company that was founded about 8 years ago by the lovely Kelly Morgan. She is awesome. I love that woman with all of my heart. And yes, it's beautiful people. And so about 8 years ago or so, Kelly moved here from New York, and she had done a lot of training in New York with Ailey and some schools out there, and it was awesome. And when she came back here, she saw that there was a need for something and she couldn't quite pinpoint it. It actually started out as a fitness class, and she
Wow.
felt that it was more than that. And so she turned it into a company, the company that is Uzima, and we have been growing ever since. Our biggest mission statement is any place that we go, we don't want to leave it the same way that it was when we came, and we want to impact it for the better. And so there's always a deposit of love whenever we go to a place. We always want to make a deposit of love. We always want to make a positive impact on the people that we come in contact with and perform for.
Sure.
Some of the biggest concerts that we do is in January. It's actually the Martin Luther King concert that we do every year, and we took a gap year this year. For a lot of reasons. But it was really cool for us to be able to sit and build our season a little bit. And then we are hoping that we can go back next year in 2021, but it's really just to see how things goes with the rest of the year. Because it's just really uncharted territory, and things can go one way or the other with COVID, and so hopefully we can come back and do the concert in January. But if we can't, no, it's not the last that you've seen of us.
That's right.
We'll certainly be involved a lot. So
Yes, ma'am.
How did you originally get involved with Uzima, or where did you hear about it?
So a friend of mine, Sierra, she introduced me to Uzima, and I went to a rehearsal, and I was like, this is interesting. I've never done African dance before, at least not right out. And I mean, not organized African dance. It's just been so it was interesting to do something like that. I've never had choreographed African dance presented to me, and so I got involved, and I don't know, I fell in love with it, and things started to grow, and here I am today. I am the assistant director of Uzima African Drum and Dance. Myself and Zoe Morgan, we're both co-assistant directors under Kelly. So
that's cool. So, and the assistant director part, that's kind of newer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How has that kind of changed the scope of what you do with or for the organization? Is it a big shift, or what's going on there?
Yeah, so I in assuming that position, I assumed it about a year and a half ago. In assuming that position, I was handed a lot of responsibility as far as choreography is concerned. So I took a bigger role in that vein. Before, I would choreograph maybe a section of a dance, but never like whole dances or half of a dance, or however much of a dance I would choreograph. And so I've definitely taken a bigger role in that regard. And I do a little bit of the administrative things as far as like sitting down with people and organizing and coming up with ideas to further the company. But I like to say that Zoe and I are really, we make a great team, and Zoe is really creative, but she wouldn't consider herself a choreographer, and I wouldn't consider myself one to put things on paper as much. So Zoe's certainly more organized or she handles the more organizational part of the assistant director role. But we do play hand in hand a lot. So
yeah, I get that. I consider myself a choreographer, but I don't consider myself a dancer. Like, you want somebody to point their toe pretty, I'm not the person for you. I could put people in a formation and show them some moves. It sounds great. It sounds like you have a really amazing partner that you're working with.
Yeah. It's awesome. Zoe's great. Kelly is great. The company is great. We've got a team of people who really help keep Uzima on track, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the challenges for the organization, or how you want to move forward as an organization. What are you looking to do in the future?
So we're planning our season, and we have been really, some of the challenges that we've been faced with is just really um, rehearsal space or just spaces. Um, it's been great. We're so grateful to IUSB for letting us use their space. They have been incredible in that regard. And so with some of the stuff that we're working toward is just looking into getting our own space, and so that we can have rehearsals there, maybe do small performances there. That's some of the things that we're looking into with these next few years. We're also looking into just trying to find the words. Just the different ways that we can impact the community. So the biggest thing that we are about is just making sure that we stay conscious of the state that our community is in, mentally, emotionally, and in as many ways as we can, so that we can be there for them by way of art and dance, as best we can, and inspire them. And so I think we're just really trying to look to the community as to what they would like to see, what they would like from us, content that they would love to see, while also partnering with our creativity. So
yeah, no, we faced many of those challenges too. We'd love to have our own building and rehearsal space.
I know. Whenever we drive past an abandoned building in South Bend, which there are many, okay, I'm like, can we just give City of South Bend, can we give one of these huge buildings that are empty to a bunch of smaller arts organizations so that they can thrive together? It looks like we may have lost Pierre a little bit.
But I don't want to lose this opportunity for any high roller donor out there. If you want to give a building, we've got 2 arts organizations that would love to share that building right now.
Yeah, and and I'm seeing, let's throw Chloe Eileen's comment up on there. So that's 3 arts organizations who are looking for spaces. Okay, folks, you have the buildings. Stop hogging them.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough today to speak with Anna Caroline Caruso from WVPE, from our local NPR station. And part of what we talked about was the importance of the arts in your community, which is why the majority of you are probably here right now, because you want to support, right? And the arts aren't just about having a good time all the time. We are here to entertain you, but we're also a way of impacting the local economy. We create jobs. We add some economic power to other organizations and businesses around. Every time that you go out to see a show, there's additional costs to that aren't pertain to seeing the event that you're going to. So going out to dinner, paying the babysitter, paying for parking, all of that fuels other industries and also supports the arts. And I am sure that, and it also drives tourism. Who doesn't want more people in our city? Come on. And I am sure that Pierre Cooks would agree with us.
I would agree. Hello.
Wow. You know that comes from the heart, folks, because that was a vamp. That's what I call a vamp. And it was all true facts. No, all true. So cool. Pierre, really quickly for our people at home, if they want to find out more about Uzima and ways to support, how would they do that?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, which is uzimadance.com, or they could follow us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, I believe, and Facebook. A lot of our content goes through Facebook first, And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to hearing from everyone. A lot of the stuff that we do as far as getting new members and finding ways that you can be involved is we do that via classes. So we work with Music Village. We've partnered with them to do some classes there. And after our class session, our 8-week session is over, we usually have an open rehearsal where anyone is invited, and to see if a Uzima is a good fit for them and if they'd like to be a part of it in a better way. And sometimes they learn that Uzima is something that could be supported from behind the scenes, and that's awesome because everyone needs that as well. So
yeah,
we've got several questions here backing up, so I want to. Oh, thank you, Grace. Woohoo! Arts education. I also appreciate that Grace offered her backyard for all of our
I didn't see that.
rehearsal space for everything. So here's a question from Olivia. Let's see. Question for Pierre with dance. How do you feel that dance helps to give a narrative or a voice to groups or persons that might otherwise not have one?
Ooh, that's a good question. So like I said, dance is extremely expressive, and people don't even realize how much they just move for any and every reason. We move when we're angry, we move when we're sad, we move when we don't think we're moving. There's always kinetic energy flowing. And so I think that dance has a way of channeling or focusing, more accurately, people's focusing their voice and focusing their narrative to kind of tell a story that they wouldn't otherwise be able to tell.
Sure.
And so it's really a universal language. It's everyone speaks movement. I mean, is the best way to describe that. Everyone is able to communicate with body language over anything else. So I think that dance is probably one of the easiest ways to tell a story and to be a voice that otherwise people wouldn't necessarily have. So
sure,
I love that.
Sure. Christian, we have a question from Christian. Fun question, he says.
I'll be the judge of that.
If you guys had to be in quarantine with one Broadway character, who would it be?
Oh man, you know what? I would probably say Timoon. Timoon. Why? Because we dance. That's the easiest way to describe that. She is always in constant motion. She loves to dance. She loves movement, and it's just a really big part of who she is. It's a really big part of who I am, and so I think we can tell lots of stories together through dance. So.
I would maybe pick off the top of my head Persephone from Hadestown, because then it could just be spring and summer.
Yes.
Right now. She'd be with me. Yeah.
I would probably pick it's Galinda, right? The good witch that comes down. I want to come down in that bubble.
Yeah.
With its staff.
Well, right now we're living in our own bubble.
It's true.
Staying at home. Yes, Mark. Thank you. No,
thank you,
Connor.
Let's see. Now we had a question up here from Jack. I might as well get that in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jack was saying, it's better if I read on this screen. Can you walk us through or go to warm-ups both vocally and physically? How do you prepare?
Oh, very studious question.
This is a very studious question.
I've been put on the spot.
Yeah.
We can all tag team if you have anything you want to say, or we can pass it off to one of us.
Yes. I think some of the ways that I start to start to get ready for any performance, rehearsal, or anything is with prayer. I'm a very faith-based individual, and so it's always something to just kind of center my mind, center my spirit, and to make space for something. If it's for a performance, to make space for that piece to resonate with me in ways that it will resonate with the audience. If it's for a rehearsal, to make space for creativity to flow, for new content, to kind of put my own agenda out of the way for a second, just to create something spontaneous. And for warm-ups, most of my warm-ups are African based. It really starts with a lot of rolls, just like rolling my shoulders, rolling my neck and my back, and just kind of rolling everything out, and just really getting some good proper stretching in there before I do any big movement.
Yeah, no, a lot of my response would be the same thing too.
My response would be the same as Ethel Merman's. Warm-ups, that's what the opening number's for.
Not true.
That's not true. Please warm up before you perform.
I do like that Jack separated vocal and physical as two different kinds of warm-ups. So I also would concur with that. But I think consistency and routine, right? Like, it's not necessarily what you're doing, it's that you have a plan that you do every time, so that you develop a routine and a process that gets you mentally in the space, just as you were mentioning, Pierre. But I agree with all of that.
Yeah. Do we want to go or jump to there?
And maybe we should jump to our game.
Yeah, Pierre.
Is it game time?
Pierre, it's game time.
Game time. Bring it on.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yes. Now, we have it where we can pull it up on the screen. So for people at home who obviously don't know what's going on, we're going to play a little game of two truths and a lie with Pierre. Now, he sent us these in advance. That's the whiskey talking now. And then Aaron and I have some two truths and lies for Pierre. All right, we're ready for the
Now, don't forget, if you still want to write in questions, we can take some more questions at the end. But it's game time now. Here we go.
Those of you at home, please feel free to guess. Here we go.
So, question one. Should I read them? Oh, what should be the format? We didn't think about this.
Yeah. Pierre, you can read them. Do you want to read them?
Oh yeah, it's your slide.
Question one. I am named after French fabric. My grandmother is Liberian. The first time I ever did the splits was at age 26, which is 2 years ago.
Did you mean librarian, or are you talking about ethnic?
No.
Oh, Liberian. Ooh, Liberian.
That's spelled incorrectly then.
Like African. I'm sorry about that.
No. No, I could have typed it wrong. I think I may have typed it wrong.
Oopsie doopsie poopsie scoopsie, as we're saying.
So my bad for typing that wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we know,
and we're supposed to pick the lie, right?
We're trying to find the lie.
Not true.
I have no idea if his name is a French fabric. I feel like the first time splits at the age of 26 is a truth.
Megan Gilroy wants clarification. Left, right, or center split?
Left.
Okay, that is the lie. Pierre cannot do the splits right now. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm going to say the lie is that you are named after a French fabric.
Both of those are true, actually. The first time I did the splits was at a cast party for In the Heights. It was a lot of fun. And I did the splits, and I was like, I never was able to go down this far before, and I touched the ground, and I was never able to do it again. But we'll get ourselves back there. So this is, I guess, a technicality, but ooh.
Are you telling us that you just cheated?
No, I'm not telling that I cheated. I should have sent you guys a direct order. My name is a French fabric.
Ah.
Now,
That's all I can say.
question for you: is your grandma possibly a librarian?
Nope. She is neither Liberian or a librarian. She's just
Okay.
straight up African American.
Let's move on. Next slide.
Oh, okay.
This one's Mark.
This one is
So,
mine.
Mark gets to read your slide.
All right, if you're guessing, Pierre, I am deathly afraid of squirrels. I brought naked Barbie dolls to my great-grandmother's funeral. Growing up, I was a huge American Idol fan.
I'm gonna go with the lie being the American Idol fan.
Am I that? Yeah, wow, you got that. And it took us like 10 minutes to guess yours. I'm very predictable.
Christian also knows you're afraid of squirrels.
Oh.
I think Jack Saunders shares a fear of squirrels.
Yeah. Squirrels are not.
Sorry for all of you.
Grace also knows the lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, American Idol. American
Schmeidel. Next slide. This one. Hold on, technology. Okay. Okay, this is me. So, am I lactose intolerant? I drove a pickup truck through the front bay window of my house growing up.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
my high school nickname was Doink.
Ooh. Let's. Is it? Oh no.
What kind of a nickname is Doink?
I don't think you drove a pickup truck through your front bay window of your house growing up.
That is true, Pierre.
That is unfortunately very true.
And
oh my gosh, how?
This poor guy.
Connor Roberts is the winner. I am not lactose intolerant.
That was going to be my first guess.
Grace also.
Yeah. He loves cheese. It's like I think he eats the most.
Christian also.
I also love cheese, and yes, I am lactose intolerant. So
You are. Oh.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm still consuming most dairy. Well, I'm just consuming cheese at this point. I've cut out milk and a lot of ice cream.
Cream.
That's about the extent of that.
You want another round?
Yes, I want to keep going. Sorry,
I
I got to get the slide going. Although I just realized now people are going to use. Don't use that nickname, by the way, please.
Yes, Mr. Doink, Doink.
Okay, Pierre, go for it.
All right. I don't have a middle name. I am missing a rib. I self-taught cello for 2 months.
Yeah, I feel like the I don't have a middle name is true. I feel like all of these are true, and it's a trick question. Is that what can I ask you? What side are you missing a rib on?
My right side.
Yeah, I really had to think about that. What does a cello look like?
It's like a huge violin. That's upright.
I think the rib one is the lie.
Yeah, I think you. I don't think you're missing a rib.
Okay. I am missing a piece of my rib on my right side.
Okay, so now we got to know the story on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the story on that. I'm pretty sure I was born that way. And I discovered it about 5 years ago. I was just kind of feeling around my chest, and I was like, "There's a divot here." And surely enough, I was missing a piece of my rib. So
it took you like 20-something years to figure that out, Pierre.
Tell me about yeah. I did self-teach myself cello for 2 months. I didn't say I did it very well or that I completed before I returned the cello and decided it was too hard to do on my own, but I did do it. Um, but I do have a middle name. No, wait. Yes, I do have a middle name.
Oh my gosh! I think there's some technical difficulties on the rules here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I was hesitant about the first question is technically my middle name is a French fabric, not my first name. Does it count? I hope it counts.
Got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
I mean,
But I didn't want to give too much away. But
what
yes, I
I'm
do have a
learning
middle
is
name.
that you're just a big liar. And
Oh, yep. You know, I like to think of it as acting in everyday life.
I was on the phone with one of my sisters today, and she's like, yeah, we have good conversations. And I was like, no, I'm just an actor. There's no enjoyment here.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Everybody's asking for the Doink story. I don't know if we're getting it today.
Doink is my president. I love it, Joe. I love it.
We do need a third-party candidate. Okay. I used to have a humongous wart on my right foot. My grandma got hit by a car on the day of our wedding. I'm sorry for laughing about that. I used to provide therapy to someone who would talk. It says 2 finger puppets, but it was through finger puppets.
Oh. Yes. Let me see. Both of them were things that I weren't expecting. I was like, what is that? I can't see the word puppets. And so I was trying to figure out what that was. I thought it was puppies at first. And I was like, finger puppies? What? But let's see. I'm gonna say
Joe thinks
that your grandma was not hit by a car in your wedding.
You got it right. Yeah. So those of you who are now disgusted by me, I used to have a humongous wart on my right foot. And yeah, my grandma though was almost hit by a car on her wedding, and on our wedding night she was taken away in an ambulance. And so in the middle of our reception, my Aunt Mary ran up to me and was like, "Grandma was hit by a car." And I ran out to the street, and there was a crowd of people around her. I thought my grandma was gonna die.
Yeah.
And I helped her on the stretcher. My grandpa, I was trying to ask questions to like get the story right, and everything that people were telling me made it sound like she was hit by a car. It wasn't until like a week later after our wedding where I found out Grandma was not hit by a car. What happened was that a car was coming so quickly that my grandpa pushed her out of the way.
And
she fell.
Oh no.
Exactly. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. Well, that's scary. Like.
Well,
yeah, it is scary.
Word to the wise: don't push Grandma on the street.
Right. Yeah.
And also,
or at least tell the story.
Yeah. Wedding's over.
Okay, moving on. Okay, here's mine. My next one. So I have run 5 marathons. Black licorice is my favorite candy. Or I've been to Italy 4 times.
Black licorice is not your favorite candy, and if it is, you have supped with Satan.
You're right. I hate
Good. Good, because I was gonna question this. I was gonna have to peace out real quick. I'm gonna have to go, man.
Christian also agrees with you.
Yes.
And that was an easy one. Next one.
Yeah, we're gonna do one more round. Go for it, Pierre.
Oh yes. I own 2 cars, both named after 2 DC superhero siblings. I watched and enjoyed High School Musical, the musical, the series. I am a licensed bartender.
I think the middle one is the lie. Now that I have discovered your trickiness, I believe that you have watched it, but you did not enjoy it.
Okay.
Let's see. What's the bottom one? Oh, licensed bartender. I would like to be a licensed bartender.
Look at this.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Christian then. You are not a licensed bartender.
I am a licensed bartender.
Christian, we were wrong.
And I watched and enjoyed High School Musical, the musical, the series. I thought it was cute. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Judge me if you will. I do own 2 cars. Both of them are named after superhero siblings, but not DC superhero siblings, but Marvel superhero siblings.
Loophole.
Yeah. My silver car is a Pontiac Grand Prix GT, and his name is Quicksilver. And my red car is a Toyota Camry, and her name is Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch.
We have a bonus round.
All right.
Yes, we do. Okay. Once on This Island is my all-time favorite musical.
Don't look at the T-shirt.
My favorite superhero is Storm. Oh shoot! My favorite superhero is Storm from X-Men. I swam in the ocean 3 times.
I'm awful at this game.
I think the lie would be your favorite superhero is Storm from X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with that.
Yes, birds of a feather. Y'all better flock together. Too bad you're wrong. But, you're totally wrong. So don't celebrate just yet. I swam in the ocean 3 times. My favorite superhero is Storm from the X-Men. She's a baddie. I love that woman. If she was real, I would marry her on sight. I will just take India Arie because I love that woman. Once on This Island is not my all-time favorite musical, but the show that was here and got canceled, Lion King, is my all-time favorite musical. I love that show with every fiber of my being.
Before it closed.
You said what?
Did you get to see it before it closed?
No, I did not. I saw it when I've only seen it once. I saw it in St. Louis a few years ago, but I didn't get to see it while I was here. Although I did win the lottery and had purchased my tickets. It's okay. You're right, Joe. I can't be stopped. I am on fire.
Yeah. Pierre, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had such a fun time. For those of you who are watching right now, don't forget that you can still donate this week on art4sb.org/ShowTunes Sunday towards Pierre's ShowTunes Sunday campaign. Pierre, any last words for our viewers out there?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all of your support. Thank you, Art4, for, again, just creating this opportunity. This city has really, really rallied together for our artists, and it is really beautiful to watch. I know that there were some questions that we didn't get to. I'll try to go back and watch the live feed video and kind of gather those questions and try to answer them on my personal Facebook page. So be on the lookout for those as well. Thank you guys again for supporting me. Donate, donate, donate. Art4 is awesome. And also, I'm awesome.
You're awesome, yes.
Watch the video, share. We got all the way until Sunday at noon is Pierre time. So watch the video.
Pierre, thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. Love you.
Bye, my friend. We love you too. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight for our interview with Pierre Cooks. He's a superstar. For those of you who are looking for more information on what you can do to get involved to help us with our ShowTunes Sunday campaign, here's a few things that you can do. First, you can donate. All of our Facebook posts on our Facebook page for Pierre's account have a donate button. click it. You can also donate on Venmo with the handle Art4SB, or go to our website, art4sb.org/ShowTunes Sunday, where you can see Pierre's videos and his performances, and you can also donate there directly. You can also nominate people, right?
Yes, we are still taking nominations, so please visit our website, which is down there on the bottom of the screen. If you scroll down to the bottom of that page, there is a nomination form, totally free to nominate. You can also nominate yourself, but please keep giving those nominations and sending us who we should be featuring on ShowTunes Sunday.
Yes, and at the very least, if you can't donate right now and you don't know somebody who you would want to nominate, or if you don't want to nominate yourself, which you can do, like and share our posts and our pages on Facebook and Instagram. Help us spread the word. There are people who really do need some help right now, and we want to make sure that we can reach them. And any support that we can have to make sure that we are getting in front of the right people is really appreciated.
We are now building an archive page as well. If you are like, how can I see all of the ShowTunes Sundays videos and all the artists that we're supporting? We are doing an archive page on our website. It is also a playlist on YouTube as well.
Yeah, check out the material. Continue to support the arts in your community. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by, and we hope that you have a wonderful evening.
Bye.